Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome back, welcome yourselves back, get comfy, get ready, get excited, well, choose a couple of those things, and just do what you can, you know, I'm not here to tell you exactly how to live your life, you gotta make your own decisions, you know, that's just the way of the world. Anyway, let's jump right back on into Transport Fever after that rather unorthodox introduction. So, as I usually do, I've let the game run for a little bit with the date paused, which is fantastic. It means that I paid off all of my $9 million in debt. Everything is looking pretty darn profitable. No real changes to very much. I will briefly highlight what I have done, though, is I have added a second train to the better than Planky supply route. So it was basically getting a little bit dire. It's still not making a huge amount of money, but it will in time. The problem is that we just had too many planks lying around in Burnley Central, so much so that it was just messing with absolutely everything, stopping us from making money. So now we're moving more planks down to the tool factory. And that means that we're going to move more tools into Kingston upon Beach. In fact, actually, we're doing a pretty darn good job of supplying Kingston upon Beach with a fantastic number of tools. Now that we've doubled our better Planky supply route. Anyway, that's that. This is now. I also had to slightly redesign the track coming out of this station because there was some little bug due to the fact that this track was so near the water that it was affecting pathing. I don't know what was happening there, so what I basically did was raise the land a little bit and erected a track. So now it's a lot more direct. Anyway, let's whap the date speed back up to 1 and talk about what we're going to be doing and hopefully accomplishing over the course of this episode. Right, so I've spoken about it briefly before, but there was a time in episode 2, I think, where we were moving so much grain from all of the three farms surrounding Gravesend to the food processing plant that we were growing Gravesend to a ridiculous degree. Not so anymore. Our growing days of Gravesend are over. I say they're over. They're not really over. But what we want to do over the course of today's episode is grow Gravesend. And this is going to set us off on perhaps the most ambitious construction project that we have ever attempted. That's right. So there is going to be a twofold change to what we're currently doing at the moment. So first things first, we are going to drastically increase the amount of food that we are actually delivering to Gravesend. Now, the way in which we're going to do that is we are going to stop shipping food in on Breadliest Catch. I'm going to keep the name Breadliest Catch. Don't you worry about it. But instead of moving food by the ridiculously slow truck things, I don't know, horse and cart, wagons, whatever, we are instead going to move it into Gravesend by train. So we're going to do that. Also, we're going to start supplying construction materials, which we're going to make at the construction materials plant just outside Gravesend. I believe the nearest, what is it? Is it stone? The nearest stone that we can supply is right up here, right up near Shifnal, which is good because that means, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to be connecting all of this stuff up with a big old track. So you can basically see where I'm going here, right? But we are going to connect up the quarry with a track, which means that we're probably gonna, the track's probably gonna go past Shifnal, which also means that we can probably think about supplying our oil to the Shifnal exchange via train as well, if there is going to be a track that comes down here and links up to the track that we've already got. So as you can see, we're going to put in a piece of infrastructure which is really going to change, a heck of a lot. It's going to change the way in which we do things quite drastically. But in the first instance, what we should do is we should get this train to park up in the station so that we can start moving more grain at the same time. Right, whap that in 3 times speed. Brilliant. Turn around, go to the depot. Fantastic. And we will leave you there for just a second whilst we decide what we're going to do. What I think we're going to do is I think we're going to increase the length of the train. So I want to edit vehicle. Fantastic. 79 meters in length. I think we are going to drastically increase that. Also, I'm fully expecting that today we might actually get to the diesel age. I don't know. I don't want to jinx it, but it's entirely possible. Right. So let's bring this train up to about 160 meters in length. 159 is pretty darn perfect. You know, just for good measure, we'll borrow another $2 million. It's okay. We paid off our debt a bit earlier. And then we're going to have to go in and configure this station right here. Ooh, that's going to be a little bit irritating. Right. Take that back a little bit. And then let's go back in and configure the station over yonder. Brilliant. And some cargo platforms just down next door. Fantastic. And I think that should be fine to link up. Don't quote me on it. Oh. It is workable. It is workable. And so is that. Wow, I am absolutely shocked. That is truly shocking to me. Okay, let's re-equip you to real grub, and then let's have at ye. See what we can do. 153 crops. So I mean, just like that, we're going to be doubling our amount of crop output. And similarly, we're going to have to do something like this up here. Unfortunately, I don't think I can curve. I don't think I can curve my track, can I? So we're gonna have to make the station slightly longer, which is gonna make it slightly more inefficient, but it is what it is, right? And then we just link that up there. Again, I'm not worrying about the speed of this track too much, because let's be quite frank for a second. It doesn't matter, because all of our trains go so unbelievably slowly at the present moment anyway. Okay, so the real grub train is going to be back on the rails, which is fantastic. So that is sort of mission 1 completed. I might consider getting another train, but not until we duel this track. And dueling the track is part of phase 2, which is the phase that we are about to move into. Well, right about now, actually. Right about now. Look at that. 140 bits of grain. That's fantastic. I like that a heck of a lot. Yeah. Okay. So that's good. That's really, really good. How much of this are we using? Production 200. Okay, so we're about using as much as we possibly can. Right. So Gravesend is going to need a station. Now, I did say that I was going to be building a track right up past Shifnal, and I honestly think that we would be kind of stupid if we didn't take the opportunity to also get a passenger service from Shifnal to Gravesend. I don't know how busy it would be. That was me just having a little look at the private destinations, and it doesn't look like many people are going between Gravesend and Shifnal, but that's okay. That's fine. We can hopefully change that. So what we're really looking for is a central location. In fact, you know what? Maybe we be a little bit more bold here. Maybe rather than having a single passenger and cargo station, we actually have a passenger and cargo, like a separate passenger and cargo station. Because let's be real, I actually think that we're going to be moving quite a lot of cargo. Yeah, I actually think that we're going to be moving rather a lot of cargo. So, what about we do something like that? To be honest, if we're going to do something like that, we might as well just make it a single station. I mean, that is a pretty darn big station. It will cost me 1.9 million to build, but it basically covers the entirety of Gravesend. Means I do need to ditch a couple of industrial buildings, but that I think will be worth it. Okay, let's take out another, I don't know, gazillion in loans. A little bit of an exaggeration there, as I'm sure you can see. Also, 160 meters has now become our default station length. And I'm pretty happy with that. So this is going to be a passenger service. Let me build cargo. Let me build a terminus cargo station. Okay, can I get rid of just 2 buildings, please? Yeah, I'll do that. 1.2 million. Yep, do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. And then let's get a little road up here. Let's get a slightly bigger road. Brilliant. And that should mean, yeah, that we cover pretty much everywhere where it matters. Right, and then let's take this opportunity to perhaps fashion another track. Do we want a separate track? Already, I feel like this is a little bit much. But you know what? Let's get a brand new separate track. Platforms, passenger platforms. Fantastic. Great. Okay, so now we have passenger and cargo access. I should also probably take this opportunity to build a connection. What am I looking for? I'm looking for MISC. Yeah, side entrance. Build a side entrance over here. Yep. And then I can build a lovely medium-sized street over to there, which will connect up that area. It's not a dramatic increase of the area of effect, but it is something. It is fine enough. That is okay. Okay, so that is going to be an absolutely jumbo cargo station. Jumbo cargo station and, well, in a sense, jumbo passenger station, but it's not going to be used for many passengers. That's why I'm sort of prioritizing cargo over everything else. Let's try and keep things roughly level here. The nature of this station means that we are going to have access issues. Yeah, this is going to present somewhat of a problem because we are going to be going over the ocean a little bit. Yeah, not ideal, not super great. But I think that, you know, we can make the best out of a bad situation here. I'm going to try building this right over here. Can I link up onto the bridge? No, it doesn't look like I can. But we can link up onto before the bridge. There we go. Right, I mean, this does seem like we're creating a little bit of a choke point. In fact, not really a huge fan of creating a choke point here, but unless we want to have like 5 individual bridges, I just don't know if there's a way to do it that's any cheaper. I mean, another way that we can do it is by just deleting this water, by sort of terraforming the earth. That might be an option. The other option that I was sort of hoping to get away with was no, you're not. You don't want to connect up there, do you? No, you do not want to connect up there whatsoever. Let me see if I can try and... No, that does work. Okay, I mean, that works too, so presumably we can just link it up. Like so? Oh, it's so close to working. It's so painfully close to working. Yeah, it does want to work. But it also doesn't want to work. Oof. Yeah, it's a shame. That's a shame. That's a real shame. Let me have a little think about how we do this. Right, I've come to the conclusion that absolutely the most efficient way of doing this is just by terraforming the ground. I know that I did, you know, technically just spend like 90 grand on a bit of bridge work, but I think we got to be real about this. This is going to become like the capital of the South. It's going to be phenomenally important that we get it right. So, let me have a look. Something like that. Breast size, yeah, strength. No, I want it to go up a bit. There we go. Get this all nice and sort of semi-flat. There we go. Costs a little bit of cash, and by a little bit of cash, I mean it costs a heck of a lot of money. But that actually looks not too bad. That looks not too bad, considering that I just eyeballed it. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. That is pretty darn good. So, I think what we want to do is we want to have access for all of the cargo lines, right? We want to have an access to the cargo lines coming through like 2 tracks. Now, my sort of logic for doing this is we should basically try to keep the passenger tracks separated from the cargo tracks when we can, but not truly separated. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Ah, there's a little bit of water left over. I didn't eyeball it perfectly. That's fine. Okay, so there is going to be a main line that we're going to connect up to, obviously. The main line over here. But as I say, I want to try and keep things as separate as I possibly can. Also, let's take the opportunity right now to dual this track. Okay, I'll just dual it from down here. How about that? Yeah, dual it all the way, and that will at least give us some idea of how we're gonna do things. Right. Or do I want to dual it on the other side? If I dual it on the other side, that would be a heck of a lot easier, wouldn't it? Right, dual it on the other side. Great. You know what? You know what I love? Is how often I change my mind. It is alarmingly regular. I say alarmingly regular. It's, you know, it's good. It's good to change one's mind from time to time. Anyway, so that ends up with a fairly nicely dualed bit of track. Let's unpause. And so what I mean is that we want to funnel all of these tracks onto a single line, which will link up to the main line, right? You with me? You with me so far? So there's gonna be a convergence. I'll pause and demonstrate it. There's gonna be a convergence of all of these tracks into one. Or into 2, should I say. Into 2 tracks. There we go. Wonderful. And wonderful. And then we're going to dual this track. Is that even? Yeah, that looks pretty darn good. And then this track, hopefully, is going to link up over here fairly easily. Yep, let's take out a little bit of a loan. There we go. I say a little bit of a loan. You know, a small loan of $500,000. Wonderful. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And let's see if this actually works. It's gonna be dicey. It's gonna be dodgy, and it's not gonna look pretty. At least not for a while, anyway. Oh goodness, does this even have a microscopic chance of working? You know what? Maybe it would work a little bit better if I took it back a little bit. Because what I want is I want all of the traffic on the cargo lines going out to come through these routes here, but I also want a separate line which they go into. Let me in fact take this all back, which may seem a little bit counterproductive, but you can at least see what I'm going for. Okay. So that needs to have crossover here. That needs to have crossover there, which is definitely should be possible, but for some reason you really don't like me building crossover tracks like that, video game. Oh, for goodness sake. That was a misclick. Yeah, so you don't like me doing that, and I don't understand why, because you should. It should be fine. There's a multitude of different ways to do this, and I just want what hopefully will be the simplest way. Yeah. Right. Take this back. I've had second thoughts. This is not how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do something like this. Yeah, do something like that. And then do something like that. Nice. And then this can just merge into this track a little bit earlier. There we go. Okay, that's how we're gonna do it. I don't love it, but it's okay. We can use these two tracks for long distance routes and these two tracks for near distance routes. I say these two tracks, these two platforms. Anyway, that does, I mean, fairly accurately do what I want to do, i.e. I have a single, I have a single double bit of track for exclusively cargo trains. And then what we're gonna do right next to that is we're going to have a bit of track. We're going to have a bit of track specifically for passenger lanes. And it's not going to be a single bit of track. It's going to be a double bit of track. Obviously, there's not much point in having a double bit of track at the moment, but I like to future-proof these things, as I'm sure you know. I'm sure you well know by now. Okay, fantastic. And let's get this all jeweled. Brilliant. Let's get a little bit of crossover over here. And you don't want to work. I don't understand. I don't understand, video game. You were looking so positive. You were looking so good. It was meant to work just fine and dandy, but it didn't want to work. It's a travesty. Travesty of modern times. Anyway, this basically means that cargo traffic is never going to slow down passenger traffic, and passenger traffic, probably more likely, is never going to slow down too much slope. Really? That doesn't look very sloped to me. All right, well, we'll go for the second best option, which is to have a little jiggle like that. And then just take that bit back. Fine. So, now we have a huge bit of track, which is probably completely overkill for what it actually is, but this is going to link up to the main... I say the main line because it's not really the main line, but it's the main bit of track that we've got in the corner. Now, what am I looking for? I'm looking for our already existing train network, but I'm failing horribly to find it. There we go. Okay. So, let me have a look one more time at the signals. So, going away is on the right. Which means I want to try and emulate that same track layout over here. Yeah, I know it's going to cause problems, but that's okay. Anyway, the whole point of emulating the same process is that it's going to be much easier to integrate. It's going to be much easier to integrate later when we eventually come to link up all of our different processes. Fantastic. And you can go over here. Brilliant. That goes there. That goes there. Fantastic. Okay, so let's unpause. Let's unpause and let our big, juicy grain train continue to make us a heck of a lot of money. And then let's think about how we want to integrate this. I almost want to change the Gravesend station. In fact, I do want to change the Gravesend station. I want to change this so completely, because it's going to make construction a heck of a lot easier and a heck of a lot more direct. Yeah, don't worry about it too much, video game. I know I've just built this track, but I'm about to delete it entirely. So, what we could just benefit from straight away is just to have just a regular old cargo station. 2 tracks, 160 meters in length. Yep. Literally just like that. And with a system like that, it does make the journey for the real grub train slightly longer. But to be honest, that's a price that I'm perfectly willing to pay. Also, we've now got a dual station, a proper dual station, that is. Tracks are too close together there. A proper dual station, which actually means that we can take advantage of longer trains, and it's not going to look like it was made by a garbage idiot. As opposed to sort of the stations that I've been putting up now and again, and it's all sort of been a little bit janky, and I've been making them and configuring them myself. No longer. No longer. No longer whatsoever. Okay, breadliest catch. Breadliest catch is on the way out. Real grub. Let's configure the line. Gravesend East is what it's called. Gravesend is no longer in existence. Gravesend East is now what it's all about. Did I get rid of all of that stuff on my train? It all spawned out of existence, which is very, very upsetting. I thought I was gonna manage to make it all work, but whatever. Okay, the grain train. Why is the grain train not working? It should have a path. It does indeed have a path. Breadliest catch. Let me manage the vehicles on the line and instead just set them onto oily 1. Excuse me? What was that little buzz? Don't know what that was. Breadliest catch. Manage the line. Let me ditch that. You know, just ditch everything on Breadliest catch. Breadliest catch is going to be kept around in its fantastic colors, but it's not gonna be that way for long. Okay, so now here comes the great part. So what we're gonna do is, in the first instance, ditch all of this road, or at least ditch enough of this road to give us a little bit of space to work with here. And then we're going to branch off from the main line. This is going to be, in fact, this is probably going to be the main line, because we're not going to have much traffic traveling up and down this section of track here. So this is going to be the main line. That's going to link up there. Perfect. And that's going to link up there. Perfect. And then this is going to link up here. Perfect. And that's going to link up there. Okay. Okay, that's grand. That is grand. Is it worth it separating all the tracks like this? I guess we'll never know. Well, we might know, but we might not know. Okay, and then we need to link up this end of the station to the tracks as well. Can I just link up directly into them? That does look indeed to be possible. There we go. Fantastic. And branch off here as well. Perfect. Okay, so as long as we have a little bit of crossover, which looks to be possible, he says, hopefully. Too much slope? Oh, come on, video game. Don't do this. We've come so far. We've come so far. You're gonna force me to delete this entire bit of road, aren't you? And then you're gonna autosave in the middle of my demolition works. How rude. How rude. We all know you don't interrupt demolition works to autosave. It's just bad manners. It's just bad flippin' manners. Right, I mean, this is a little bit silly, because it should be entirely possible to make this connection. It should be entirely possible to make this connection. Come on. Oh my god. Alright. Let's take a fresh approach at this whole corner. Let's go straight for a little bit after the station. Enough, perhaps. Straight enough, anyway, to give me a good chance of crossing things over here. Brilliant. Video game? I swear. I swear. Alright. So apparently it just doesn't matter. It's just not possible. Right. So, in this case, we adopt the second best solution, which is not much of a solution at all. But we have the crossovers at different points. Doesn't really look very nice. In fact, it looks utterly horrific, and I hate it so much. But, you know, what can I do? Also, as it turns out, makes building these, the heck is that? Yeah, just give me a bridge. Just give me a regular bridge. Yeah, makes building junctions really, really difficult. Alright, there we go. We're gonna have to just do it down there instead. Connect up there. Fantastic. Okay. so this should work. This should work. I guess we'll see. We will see completely if it does or doesn't. You, by the way, can go to Gravesend, well, the other Gravesend station. Gravesend Annex, that's the one. You can go there. Fantastic. What I'm going to do now... Do you carry bread by any chance? The carriages anyway on here, do they carry bread? No. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Which means that we're going to have to get a brand new and entirely separate train to do the Gravesend East to Gravesend transfer route. I'm going to just call this... I'm just going to call this Gravesend. If ever a station deserved to be called Gravesend, it would be this one. It would be the jumbo one. It would be the jumbo one. Okay, so that goes there. That goes there. Inside. Facing that way. Facing that way. Sure. I guess we'll go for that. Well, I guess we'll go for that. That looks not too bad. That looks not too shabby. Okay. So, I've spent a heck of a lot of time getting the Gravesend station right, but I honestly feel like that is exactly what needs to be done. Gravesend is going to be the capital of the South. It really is, and certainly I really do envision it playing a really quite important role. So, it's imperative that we get, you know, sort of the foundations as good as they possibly can be before moving on and sort of making massive, drastic changes to absolutely everything. Right, I'm going to stick it in 2x speed. The condition of Bodie McBoatface is very poor. No, not Bodie McBoatface. I've simply got to change that. Bodie McBoatface, you've been an absolute hero. Running costs 91,000 a year. The valuation is now 43,000. Well, it's worth more than that. It's worth more than that to me. Let me adjust the maintenance. Adjust the maintenance. There we go. Adjust the maintenance of Bodie McBoatface. Let's see how this actually works. I really don't care, to be honest, about the condition of Bodie McBoatface, other than keeping it alive. I don't care about its emissions. It doesn't really go anywhere. Like, it doesn't go anywhere near any people, that is. Yeah, so it does emit rather a lot of emissions, but as it turns out, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at all. Anyway, how's the grain train doing? The grain train is doing a pretty darn good job. However, we could be shipping more, and we will be shipping more at some point. Anyway, so that is that taken care of. Grand. I need to stop pausing whilst I'm building, because it's important. It's important that we keep things going so that we keep on making money. Right, ditch that. Grand. Now we can talk. Now we can talk about the big section of track that we're going to have to lay between the quarry up here and this bit of track down here. So there are like two key things to bear in mind. First of all is that we need to incorporate a passenger station into this somehow. I'm thinking that we probably just try and stick down a relatively simple passenger station. Maybe somewhere around here. Honestly, if I can terraform this a little bit, a passenger station roundabout there would look pretty darn good to me. We'll probably try and get ourselves like a little tram depot or something around Shrifnel, if we're going to be utilizing it as sort of a proper. There we go. If we're going to be utilizing it as a proper passenger stop off, then you know the least we can really do is get an appropriate tram service set up. So plonk that down there like so. Brilliant. A double passenger line. That's fine. Let's get the tram service set up right now, because there's no time like the present. Tram depot right in the center of town. That seems a little bit ridiculous, but in the same time, I don't want to put it anywhere near any of the tracks that I'm going to be building. Stick it out here. Great. Then let's go back to streets. Get some tram tracks. I don't even know where we want the tram tracks to go, but I know where one of the stations is going to be. Right here. Sure, I guess we'll just upgrade absolutely every bit of track in the surrounding area. Whatever. How many people do we want to have on this tram? That's an electric tram. Is that the first type of electric tram that we've got? I think it actually is. Yeah. 69 emissions, which is actually pretty darn cool. Let's buy it. The stand band tram. Fantastic. Brilliant. Let's it's the brand new electric tram. I'm really excited about this, actually. Give me a tram stop. We'll get a tram stop over... We'll get a tram stop over yonder. And we'll get a tram stop over yonder. Fantastic. Right. Electric tramming dreams. You know, doesn't everyone have dreams of electric trams? I know I certainly do. Right, fantastic. That is just looking brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Let's get, not that vehicle. The vehicle that's currently inside the Shrifnel tram depot. Let's get that stuck onto electric tramming dreams. Fantastic. I don't know what that little beep noise is that you keep hearing. I don't think it's... I don't think it's coming from out with the game. I think it's coming from in the game somehow, but I don't know. Anyway, so that is going to be that sorted, which is fantastic. That is one of the key pieces of sort of information that we need to consider. The other piece of information that we need to consider is that we've got to actually, you know, place down a cargo station at the quarry. I think just a single station, a single cargo station, more than adequate. As I've already said copious amounts of times, 160 meters for the station length is now the standard, so that's what we're going to go with. And then let's just get these tracks built. Let's just get these tracks built. Fantastic. And this is going to be... That's a ridiculously low price for such a large bit of track. But I'm happy to see it. There we go. And let's just merge into that single bit of track. No bother there whatsoever. That's the easy bit. The more complicated bit, the slightly more complicated bit, I mean, not drastically more complicated. Construction's not possible through this area here. Well, let's take this opportunity to bulldoze that little tiny bit of track, that little tiny bit of roads, so that we can build some straight 120 mile an hour track here. Fantastic. Okay. Now. The route of this track is going to be somewhat important, because I do want to eventually get to the point where we are completely removing trucks from this section of road over here. Today is not the day where we're going to do that, but we do need to bear in mind. We do need to bear in mind the fact that I do want to get rid of all of the trucks. I think, also, we are a little bit cursed in the fact that there is a hill right here. So I think what we want to do is try and avoid the hill as much as we possibly can. So let's try and stick to the road. Yep, stick to the road, and we'll circumnavigate, if you will. We'll circumnavigate the hill. And there's another hill right in the way over there. Well, that's actually not a problem, because we can still come down roundabouts where the road is over here. I think we're gonna do that. Cool. So bring the track along this way, keeping it at 120 meters an hour, 120 miles an hour. That's right. 120 miles an hour, or as close to 120 miles an hour as we can possibly manage. I mean, if we're gonna eventually turn this into fast track, which I presume we eventually will, we're gonna need it to be as fast as possible. So, there we go. It's future-proofing, right? You know how I love me some future-proofing. Anyway, the route of this track is conveniently very, very near the chemical plant. It's going to run very, very near to the Shrifnel Exchange, which of course is the base of operations for Bodie McBoatface. And it's also going to come very, very close to the oil well over here. I don't even know what specific type of oil well that actually is, but there we go. Construction's not possible. Well, that's not a great start, I must confess. Not over the moon about that, but that looks okay. That looks okay. Everything 120 meters per second, 120 miles an hour. Yeah, sure. That looks very, very good. Wonderful. Right. Get that down. Brilliant. I mean, we have spent an absolute arm and a leg. That is not an exaggeration. I've had to sacrifice a whole arm and a leg in order to make sure that we get this built. Right, so this is the rightmost track. It's going to link into the rightmost lane over here. Again, at 120 miles an hour. You know what? Pretty soon, we could be getting trains that do run at 120 miles an hour. It could be happening. Right. Get that built and then just get that linked up there. 120 miles an hour all the way. Fantastic. That is brilliant. I know I've said fantastic a lot, but it really is cracking news that this is all working. All right. Let's just get some signals all the way over here. Grand. Signals, to be honest, more than doing anything in particular, are just to remind me which direction I need to plan the track in. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So now we've got a really, really, really important stretch of track lined up. We can also start to think about the Gravesend construction materials plant and getting that all linked up. I think the way in which we want to go about this is just to get a cargo terminus station. We'll just get a cargo terminus station right over here. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg again, but I mean, what's new, right? What's new? And then let's see if we can try and have a little bit of a fancy link up over here. Doesn't really look like it's going to be too fancy, to be honest, which is a little bit disappointing. I'm sure there is a good way of doing this, but I don't think that I have the perseverance to find out. Sure. I think we do something like that. Something like that. So something which brings us roughly parallel with the track in as short a time as possible. And we do it at the other side as well. And if we do that, then maybe, just maybe, I'll be allowed to cross over these tracks. Oh, please. Please, video game. No. You were so close. You were so close to just letting me have it. And yet, here we are. That actually doesn't not work. It does actually work, which is good. It does actually work. Okay, so that should allow us from both directions to get onto the track. Any of the stations that we're after, because I suspect we might need more than one train to make this whole process work. All right, I mean this just looks like a total mess, a total mess. All right, ditch that. Oh goodness gracious me! I don't even want to think about the way that this looks, because it looks horrific. It looks absolutely horrific. Right, take it all back and, you know, reapproach the situation. Right, we're gonna have the train coming down. Oh my goodness! Wonderful, brilliant. They're not diesel yet, but we're getting very, very close. How quick are you going? It's just not in 3 times speed. That's why it looks slow. So we're going to have the trains coming down here. and into that station right over there. So we can have the rightmost track be used for the dropping off of cargo materials, and then the leftmost track can just be used for the other ones. And if I was to do that, then that means... There we go. Then that means that we could get away with sort of simplifying the track building system over here. Okay. I know this is kind of like what I had, but... it's fine. Right, fantastic. Okay. Okay. That bit of road's gonna need to go, I'm afraid. Come on, get past the bit that I'm currently working on, video game. Grand. Okay, don't know why the train shrinks whenever I delete something very, very close to the backside of it, but, you know, that's fine. And there we go. Okay. So that looks good. That looks good. That looks positive. It looks strong. Right. Now, let me just reconnect this road up briefly. That's going to be a problem. Because, of course, it is. Why would it not be? That's the wrong button, Potato. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Grand. Okay. Now, it's time for train action. Where am I going to stick down? I've already got a train depot over here. Can I just get a bit of track to go around here and link up over here? No, I can't do that. Or I can, but that would be ridiculously expensive and get rid of a field or whatever, and I don't really want to faff around with that. What if I put it down in the middle somewhere? Yeah. You know what? Just stick it parallel to the track. Parallel to track over there. And... yeah, which way are the signals going? That way. So, like that. Okay, cool. Well, let's take out another ridiculously large loan so that we can afford to buy potentially the most complex train that we have yet to build. Okay, there are multiple trains that there are multiple carriages that can carry stone. Carriages that can carry stone, though, cannot carry whatever it is. Yeah, construction materials. So we are going to need definitely 2 trains to run the construction materials around, which is fine. No electric trains, no diesel trains. That's not a problem. It's not a problem. What was the brand new one? The Russian class OB. Do I want a super fast train? 1.6 million for a train? That seems a little bit a little bit steep. I'll get the Mogul. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And it's got a 75 kilometer an hour top speed. Very, very nice. Cool. Cool. Okay, give me the gondolas, which take a ridiculously large amount of materials. Now, that is going to set me back by about 5 and a bit million. Do I really have the bank balance to pay for that? I do not believe that I do. I don't even think I have anywhere close to the bank balance to pay for that. Which worries me a little bit, because I should have the bank balance to pay for that. Okay. Sure. 106 meter long train. That seems like a fairly hefty train. You know, a fairly hefty train. Not as hefty as I would like, but that's okay. Okay. Bish bash bosh. Fantastic. The brand new line. Welcome to the brand new line. That's right. I'm not going to say it because I don't think advertisers take too kindly to saying a word like that. So there we go. You can say it at home if you'd like, but I'm not going to. Anyway, let's equip that train to the brand new line. Fantastic. I hear these little beeps going off all the time. absolutely no idea what they actually mean. So, on this occasion, I've fully maxed out my my credit card. We can carry 84 stone. Hopefully, the route that I have made for this train should be reasonably flat, which means that we can get up a whole bunch of speed. There we go. We should be able to get up a whole bunch of speed. 50 kilometers per hour is, of course, the max, because the flipping carriages can't go higher than that. Oh, man. I should have known. I should have known. I made this exact mistake earlier. Earlier in the series, that is. Also, at the moment, all of the passenger trains, or all of the cargo trains, need to go through the station. I'm not over the moon about that. I mean, that's bad news. It's bad grooves. But I'm sure at some point we can change that, and we can, you know, make it so there's a nice little train bypass. It's pretty essential. It's pretty essential that we get that done. Okay, so that is one part. That is one part of everything sorted. So you are still kicking around here. Fine. I'm gonna need to get a brand new train to take the goods from Gravesend East to Gravesend. Yeah, I thought it said Gravesend Transfer for a second there, but it should just be called Gravesend. I don't want it to be called... There we go. Just Gravesend. So we're going to need a train to take the goods from Gravesend East to Gravesend. Unless this train can carry food. Can it? No, it can't carry food. This is the gondola carriages. That's fine. That's totally fine. It was just a thought. If I was able to make it happen, then I would happily do that. Okay. I don't think this train needs to be super long, but I'm gonna need to get another depot, just because I am, apparently. Because I'm just bad at planning depots. Let's set up a route. In fact, no, we've already got a route, so we're just gonna need to repurpose it. It's gonna be called Breadliest Catch, obviously. It's now gonna be a train route, though. How cool is that? Yep. That's literally it. That's literally it. Don't really like how this is working. And in fact, this should not be working in the way in which it currently is. I'm going to need to do a little rejigging here. Uh-oh. Hold on. I've messed up the signals over there. That's fine. We'll redo this. Redo this right now. Yeah. And then... So it's coming back. That is going there. So this needs to be redone. Oh, flippin' heck. Wrong button. Oh, no. No! No! Oh, it's the greatest shame in the world. Right, ditch that. Ditch that. And then just try and reconnect this. Oh, it's possible. Thank goodness it's possible. Can I reconnect the road, or is that too far gone? I can't believe it. I simply cannot believe it. That worked too well. Okay, so that is coming back. This is going there. Fantastic. So, now if we have a little look at Breadliest Catch, it should use both sides of the track. Fantastic. That's exactly what I would like to see happen. Breadliest Catch, looking good. I don't want a super large train. I don't want a super long train. In fact, let's just buy the slowest, cheapest train that we possibly can. To be honest, I probably should have been doing that from the start. And we'll go with you. One more. Yeah. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Fantastic. Another little ding noise. Right, Breadliest Catch. Let's get you equipped on there. So now we should actually use our food for something. We're still not using our construction materials quite yet, but we will. Actually, do you carry construction materials? No, you don't carry construction materials. Irritating. Very, very irritating indeed. Very, very irritating, but that's fine. Right. Get some of the loans repaid whilst I got a little bit of cash in the tank. Alright, and start moving yet more crops around. Fantastic. Also, Breadliest Catch needs to be slightly amended so that we carry a full load from Gravesend East. Maximum waiting time is 10 minutes. Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. Alright, 12 grand there. 12 grand here, 12 grand there. What is this? Launder. No idea what that is. No idea what that is at all. Maybe it's a road vehicle. Probably. Looks like a road vehicle to me. This is a janky junction, if ever I saw one. A janky junction. Right, 40 out of 42 stone. That's not bad. I did kind of expect that we would use a little bit more than 42 stone, but that's okay. That's fine. It looks good, though. It looks really, really good. I'm really, really happy with how this is looking. Yep, sure, I do need to connect up the chemical plant, the docks, the oil well. All of that stuff will be done. But as I said earlier, that's a job for another day. Tell you what we could do. I would love to change this train for this train. The engine, anyway. Because the engine on this this train is the grain train anyway, is kind of garbage. Yeah, it's really struggling to pull the weight. 14 kilometers per hour. 800,000. Don't mind if I do. Fantastic. Right. So let's see if we can try and get. Oh no, we're gonna need to get another. In fact, no, I can just get away with using this depot. That's fine. So I'm just going to get a slow train again. Just Baldwin's 6 wheels. Baldwin's best 6 wheels as opposed to his worst 6 wheels. And we will find ourselves getting a couple of flat pack trucks. 52, 59 meters long. Sure. Let's borrow 2.5 mil. And that's not possible. Alright, well, we'll just get it slightly shorter. And now we will get ourselves a construction material line. There we go. Building Gravesend. Fantastic. Building Gravesend. We're now using all of the track. All of the track that we possibly can be using, we are now using it, which is fantastic. Very, very happy. Very, very happy with how this looks, to be honest. It's fantastic. Right, something that I do want to check is who is using... Yeah, do we have a terminal supply issue? Looks like Breadliest Catch is using Terminal 1 and Real Grub is using Terminal 2. That's the way that I want it to be. That is exactly the way that I want it to be. And it will mean that we won't have any disputes on who has priority access to the terminals, because for the most part, train 16, the one that runs on Breadliest Catch, will be sitting in the platform, just waiting for some goods, I suspect. 1.13 million. Don't mind if I do. Phenomenal news. Really, really good stuff. Right, how will the people of Gravesend react to the fact that we've now sort of increased the pollution a little bit? Yeah, probably not well. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that commercial buildings care about noise pollution, so that's a massive positive, I guess. It's pretty darn big. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Loads and loads of construction materials. How fantastic. And you've got 35 out of 35 food. That is brilliant. That is really, really, really good. I mean, we need to get another grain train. We absolutely need to get another grain train. How much is it going to cost me to clone the selected vehicle? Not enough money. I don't know how much money one will need to do that. But I suspect that it will be a large quantity. I also don't really want to replace this train with a like for like. Yeah, maybe I'll just keep on clicking in the vain hope that eventually I will have enough money. Who honestly knows? I think 2 trains on this line would be would be great. I think that also we can get away with just keeping one single platform, as we probably won't need a second. Man, I am really, really happy with the setup that we've got going here. We've built a really, really important bit of track. I'm very, very happy with it. How's Bodie McBoatface doing? Its maintenance is very high. Its emissions are still very high. Its condition, however, is very good, which is wonderful. Let's bring the running costs back down a little bit, as I was kind of being stiffed on the running costs there, but you know, it's fine. It worked out in the end. Everything else is going on over here. Stallbridge is growing at a rate of knots. It's you know, a decent number of goods, not an incredible number, but you know, not bad. We do need a lot more coal than we currently are producing. Yeah, rather a lot of iron in stock, but that's okay. It's fine. We all make mistakes. Yeah, I do need to definitely figure out a way of increasing the amount of food that we get to Gravesend food processing plant. And I think the way to do that is, without a shadow of a doubt, is to just clone this train. Not enough money. How on earth do I not have enough money to clone this train? I refuse to believe that I don't have enough money. 2.6 million? I kind of spent more than 2.6 million on this flipping train. I tell you what, the caravans, the wagons that it pulls, absolute ripoff. An absolute ripoff. Costs an absolute fortune to buy a wagon, and I have no idea why. Not enough money. Still not enough money. 3.1 million. You're telling me it costs over 3.1 million to buy a train like this? I don't believe it. I don't believe it even for a second. Well, we're about to have the actual grain train come into the station, so hopefully that'll bring us up over 4 million, which is apparently what we're gonna need to buy a train like this. Hallelujah! We did it. We did it. Let me have a little look at the valuation. Hold on, how much is this train valued at? 4.2 million. 4.2 million. The engine isn't even that good. In fact, it's mediocre at best. But I tell you what, it is gonna mean that we basically just doubled. We basically just doubled the amount of food that we're gonna be delivering to Gravesend, which is gonna be, I mean, very, very important. Very, very important indeed. Hopefully we don't have too much of a congestion issue at this specific bit of track right over here. But if, you know, if the trains sort of manage to keep themselves apart, then we should be totally fine. We should be totally fine. San Diego electric trolley. Right, well, we didn't get into the diesel age as I predicted, but we're getting pretty darn close. We're getting pretty darn close. We're electrifying things slowly but surely. How are we doing? How are we doing over yonder? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna manage this vehicle. I'm gonna configure it. What is it? Replace the selected vehicle. Yep. Replace it with something which is, yeah, a heck of a lot slower. And just give me a bunch of cargo wagons. Give me a bunch of, yeah, give me a bunch of these. Yeah, sure. You go 3 times speed for a second. Brilliant. Pause and do that. Do that. Fantastic. Okay. Just get the, what the heck was that noise? They've modified the sound effects, all of the sound effects. They've changed them all. Anyway, so now we're going to take full advantage of the fact that these cargo wagons only go up to 50 kilometers per hour, and swap it out with a much cheaper train. I actually kind of like the I like the what it was, the Russian class GV something. It's the Russian class GV. It is the Russian class GV. Yeah, I really like it as a cargo train because it does just all the right things that I need. It's not the most powerful engine, but I mean it runs at a pretty decent top speed. So I mean I'm not too disheartened with using a cheaper train model. It does mean that we're going to be able to get a significantly larger number of resources moved across in a single go, which is exactly what I'm all about. it looks like building Gravesend is a pretty successful route, to be honest. Let me... I'm 1.5 million down the hole. No worries, though, because I'm sure that will be replaced in just a second with actual cash as opposed to just debt. I'm fully confident. Very, very confident, in fact. I just wanted to get a signal here. That's all I wanted to do. It's just 3 grand. It's going to dramatically improve the running of the railway. They're not one-way signals. They're just signals to allow trains past. In fact, you know what? Let me, yes, get a one-way signal here. Oh, now I'm 720,000 down the hole again. Oh, goodness gracious. I can't even place signals because I'm so indebted. And I don't have any more credit that I can take out. Unfortunately. There we go. Fantastic. That's all the signalage I wanted to place. I'm sure that there will be further signaling issues, but for now, that's not too bad. This is actually looking pretty darn good. Can I have a little look at my line profitability? Yeah, not bad. Building Gravesend doesn't look like it's making that much money. Stoned also is not making that much money, but that's because there hasn't been a train in a while. And there's about to be a train arriving in the station right now, so that's grand. Yeah, this train really does struggle with hills, though, so... Yeah. Steam tarpaulin truck, steam flatbed truck. Okay, well, we could think about getting some new and upgraded trucks. Especially for oily. If we could replace all of the garbage old trucks on oily with brand new trucks, that would probably be a heck of a lot better. Look at the tailbacks that we've got over at the at Shrivnell Central Station. That is kind of a bit ridiculous, in fact. Tell you what, though, this is all looking real good. 48 construction materials waiting. How are we doing? How are we doing in Gravesend? Look at that. Look at that. Actually growing Gravesend. Actually doing what I said I would do in a flippin' episode. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? I don't know. He's on fire. He's actually on fire. Man, oh man. This is ridiculously profitable. Baldwin 6 wheels. The best 6 wheels that Baldwin has ever Baldwined. It's looking good. It's looking real good. Why is this train stopped here? Yeah. You can go to the next stop. Man, I tell you what, I'm really rather satisfied with the changes that I've made. Look, I'm not super sure that this was an entirely necessary purchase, especially this early in the game. But it's justified in my mind because of the fact that we are going to be shipping a heck of a lot more cargo into Gravesend as it gets bigger, as it grows. It's only increasing. It's only gonna increase. So we need to make sure that we've got that capability, we've got that capacity. In fact, what I should check is building Gravesend. What station does building Gravesend actually use? And is it different from the other stations? Yeah, so it looks like building Gravesend uses the second track or the second station, whereas Breadliest Catch uses the first station. That's fantastic. That's fine. Completely satisfied with that. You're going to keep on motoring over this way. Perfect. Brilliant. Brilliant. Look at that. 448 predicted population. That's phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. Oh, we're doing such a good job that I think we're going to have to upgrade this train. Yeah, let me replace the vehicle. Let's keep it as Baldwin's 6 wheels. And let's instead change it to... I need boxcars. Lots and lots and lots. That's not the boxcar. I need lots and lots and lots of boxcars. This specific boxcar, I believe. Up to... Sure. Something like that. There we go. So we can carry a heck of a lot more food on our journey. Should just mean that everything is able to be transported in slightly larger quantities, and that's exactly what I'm after. Larger and larger and larger quantities. Yeah, we are now moving such a ridiculously large amount of grain. Very, very happy with it. Very, very happy with it. How are we doing? How are we doing over for stone? We're not doing too badly for stone at all. Could probably do with getting another stone train as well, but because it costs such a large amount of money to build one of these lengthy trains, I'm not going to worry about that too much at the present moment. Yeah, looks like we're going to need to increase the number of either trains or the length of the trains on building Gravesend as well, because that is pretty important. The condition of multiple vehicles is very poor. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It ain't the greatest, is it? It ain't the greatest. I'm not looking after my vehicles at all. Am I particularly bothered? No, not really. Breadley's catch, bringing in the moolah. And building Gravesend as well. Also, will be bringing in the moolah. Any train really that we're losing a ridiculously large amount of money on. I refuse to believe that we're actually losing money on real grub. Stoned as well. I refuse to believe the fact that we're actually making money on that, or losing money on that, should I say? Yeah, look, it just takes a while. It takes a while for the journey to be made, especially since I've downgraded the speed of the train. Although, in saying that, it gets up to a pretty mean speed on the way around this flat bit of track round here. Yeah, look, it's essential anyway that we have this service to grow Gravesend, so it kind of doesn't really matter if even if we're losing a little bit of money from the route. It's still really important that we get it done. Right, well, I think that's mission accomplished. I'm very, very, very satisfied with the work that we've done over the course of this episode. There's a little bit of ooh, that was a road that just went down over there. There's a little bit of work that I think can be done to mitigate the noise pollution, i.e. we could get rid of the tram station, the tram depots, but look, for now, I think we can all say that's a job well done. We've got a pivotal bit of infrastructure in place now. We're growing Gravesend at a rate of knots. It's feeling good. It's feeling like a lively place to be. Ladies and gents, thank you as ever for watching this episode of Transport Fever. I do hope you'll tune in next time to the next episode of Transport Fever. I hope to see you then. Bye.